Okay.
Sorry, said he's here to listen hard.
Good.
If anybody is noticing, I am in the infamous blanket. He's extremely warm. Warms me with the power of our friendship.
Oh my god, it was the cheesiest, worst thing ever.
You're cheesy.
I am so...
Good. What the audience doesn't know is I'm actually wrapped in this because I don't feel good.
I drank too much wine last night, so I'm eating a donut to try and
balance it out.
Craig says that we both look so cozy. This is one of my many Christmas shirts.
I like that you have more than one Christmas. I buy like red clothing in an effort to be like, is this Christmassy enough for Christmas? And you straight up are like, look, a Grinch sweatshirt. Let's get it.
This is why I don't have friends.
You have me.
People realize I'm weird and they're like, don't want her around. But
Hey.
This outfit is more than the shirt, you guys. Check this out. Wait, are you ready for it? I have holiday style leg warmers on today.
The best part of your outfit is that your jeans have holes in them. You're in winter clothing.
I also want to say, you guys, it is minus 30 something here today.
Celsius, guys, don't worry.
Fahrenheit. It's extreme.
Like what, 5 degrees in Fahrenheit?
No, I think it's in the negatives in Fahrenheit.
Let's see. We'll see about that as I slowly.
Fahrenheit. Okay, I learned Celsius.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's negative 22. Math is not my strong suit.
We never learned Fahrenheit in school here. So I actually don't even know how to calculate Fahrenheit. It's the same thing as like, I don't really know how to calculate from kilograms to pounds and stuff like that, or...
Yeah, it's called Google. I'm just kidding.
No, I know, but
like,
you think that we would learn how to do that, but they don't teach us that. They're like, no, you're going to just weigh you in kilograms, and then when people talk about pounds, you're going to be very confused.
My notebook I bought has all that in it.
Oh, that's smart.
Isn't that neat?
I gotta moisten my lips after eating a donut. I also need to get the thing out.
All right, I'm going to do this real fast.
How many degrees Kelvin? What?
I just want people to see. If you didn't check out my reels, there's a full glimpse at this amazing, thoughtful gift.
And she called it creepy for months, you guys. Can we just...
Right now, we're going to get flagged for Home Alone. Just want you to know, when I first posted that reel of this blanket, I got flagged for your copyright infringement on Home Alone, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because of Elle's face. So just, that's a little... So you want a behind the scenes for you? Oh my god. It's amazingly soft and warm.
It's huge.
And I am not over the weather.
I knew
One
she
might
was
say I'm under the weather.
-5 in Lithuania. And the ground is covered in ice.
Oh.
Wow, I wish it was -5 here. That is my dream. It's supposed to warm up to like -6 tomorrow, but I don't believe that at all.
Meanwhile, it's like 30 degrees Fahrenheit here, and I'm complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't complain to me.
For the rest of the show, I'm gonna be wrapped in this blanket.
It looks great on you. It's your color.
Thank you. I have Pink Floyd on for anyone who does care, who maybe is watching my band shirt development.
But it's raining, so it's above 32. Craig, Google. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh, okay.
Now Meg's gonna look it up.
The show just becomes us. It's 0 degrees. 32°F is 0 degrees.
32 degrees is freezing cold.
Does anyone else want me to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit before I close the browser?
I did know that 32 degree.
I feel like I knew that too. That was
because
like
it's only because of a song that I heard. And what song is it? Like the Drinkin' Bone song or whatever? It's like this country
I don't know what that is. For anyone watching, how do you guys say the word Reese's?
Oh, God.
Do you call them Reese?
Okay,
like Canada does?
I had never heard Reese's until I talked to Americans who were like, do you want some Reese's? And I'm like, what is a Reese's? What are you talking about?
Canceled the show over it.
And our friendship.
Yeah. Thanks for the blanket with my face all over it, but you say my favorite candy wrong.
No, it's my favorite candy, and I say it right. So bad.
Let me put my fingers through my eyes. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Okay, you can't just type the word and we won't know what it.
The way that they like Reese's, it sounds like there's another S on the end. There's no other S on the end.
There is. It's Reese apostrophe S.
Does anyone have a package of Reese that they could just send?
So really, it should be Reese's.
No,
like
because
it belongs to Reese.
The package that we get here, it just says REESE. There's no S on the end of it.
It says apostrophe S.
No, that was.
Is this like a Mandela thing effect?
What is going on here?
I'm looking it up. There's an apostrophe S.
I just want everyone to know this might be the worst fight that Meg and I have ever had.
There's an apostrophe and an S, so it should be Reese's.
Okay, so this is weird. I think in the State you guys have the apostrophe. In Canada, it just looks like it's just REESE. There's no apostrophe. I'm gonna buy a Reese tomorrow, and I'm gonna send you a picture.
I'm trying to think who I have.
I have one. I have an empty package of Reese that's downstairs. I want to go get it so bad.
And we got a show to do, okay? We're 14 minutes.
Later, and we're gonna post it in our stories because I'm gonna show you. There's no apostrophe S. That's an American thing for sure. Okay, everyone, we'll stop fighting now.
You know what? The candy probably tastes different though, because the chocolate you sent me does not taste like the chocolate here.
Yeah, and I noticed that too. Like whenever I go down to the States, you guys have weird tasting peanut butter. It's very sweet. I don't understand why there's so much sugar in it.
I don't know what to say to that. Is Greg in the picture here? Greg.
Hey, you know, Craig, not everyone in Canada is French. You know that, right? It's a tomato or fruit or a vegetable? It's a fruit.
There.
Vegetable. Because who picks up a tomato and just eats it like an apple? That's weird.
I slice it up.
No, but I mean, like, do you eat it? Do you pick it up and go like, oh, I'm just craving this tomato right now as a piece of fruit?
I guess if I were, like, wandering for days and I had found the first, like, tomato.
All of us would, I think I might have insulted someone in our audience.
Oh,
Is the hot dog is now, okay, can we just start the show?
Okay, let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Okay.
Good God.
Okay,
okay guys.
I'm ready.
Hi, welcome back to So You Wanna, a show for writers by writers. Elle and I created this brand to help give writers like you a home. The world needs books, it needs your books, so let us be the ones to help you bring them into the world. I'm Meg, and if I look like death, it's because I feel like death. I'm probably sick. But I love being here with you guys, so hello. I'm your one-stop shop for all things dark humor. You can check out my work on Wattpad.com under Megan Alexandria, or just follow the link in my bio, which is so much easier. Can't wait to get to your guys' questions, but first, I'm going to do my little rant. Guys, if you're my rightlings here, and that means that you are waiting for the Miranda Rights trilogy to update, and you're waiting on book 2, Protect and Serve, to drop, you are in luck, because I'm here to tell you that Protect and Serve will be here on January 1st, the first day of the year. That means 2022. I'm not just pulling your leg and going to release it in 2025 or anything. So you have about a month to wait on that. Until then, go and read my latest work. It's called The Holiday Affair, which is my take on Christmas romance. And as Elle would say it, Hallmark, but make it dark. If you're not part of the pack yet, this is your formal invite. You can go read the Miranda Rights Night Shift, which is book 1. It's ready for you to binge. It's all out. And of course, I have the Ostler's Boy that was shortlisted on the Waddy's 2021 list. And I have the Birds and Bullets, which is an espionage spy thriller romance. Done.
Craig had a question. He's wondering if you had a book that just released.
Craig, you're the worst. You're the worst. I can't even talk. All my insults will be weak.
All right. Hey, I'm Elle. And I don't get pop culture references because I don't watch a lot of TV, so the show is really fun. But since I don't watch a ton of TV, it gives me more time to write, and I've been able to produce a few things for you guys. You can start by reading my contemporary romance, For the Love of Art, which was as well as considered for best cover in the Waddies this year. It has also found its place on the Melting Hearts reading list in adult fiction. And then I also have 2 books of poetry, Elle and Under the Starry Sky. Both are amazing and not sad at all, despite what Meg will tell you.
That's a lie.
Finally, in my little writing world, I recently announced that I have a holiday novella coming next week. A very Calorglan Christmas. It will be bringing back some of your favorite Calorglan characters as Laurel and Patrick explore life after the happily ever after. And I'm going to say it again. I said it last week, but I have joined the TikTok, and I post new little not to be taken seriously humorous skits about writing every day. So follow me, or you can just creepily watch in the corner. I guess that's cool too. I find it weird though. Point is, check it all out. You can find everything about me in my new improved Linktree style website. And
Ooh, did you get a new one?
I did. I made a new one. It's different now, and
Little look at that.
It'll give you full access to all things Elle. And I promise this week we are finally going to get around to doing screenwriting.
Yes. It's been a long time coming, guys. Before we get started, I want to drop that we do have a Discord. We are 45 plus strong. So we are growing every day. We love you. We have a YouTube that we're uploading to after Sundays after our show, so you can catch it on Monday if you do miss it. And we have some merchandise coming.
I just want to say, Craig just wrote on here, that's how I watched, hunched over in a corner of my room in complete darkness. And you know what, Craig? That does not surprise me at all.
No. I read part of that comment while I was promoting the Discord, and I thought he was talking about me and my blanket over here. So I also watched hunched over.
I'm confident, actually, that Craig is hunched over in complete darkness watching us.
Yeah, so Smurf, you say that you have to get Discord because a lot of people are telling you to join it. I will say, Elle and I were just talking about this yesterday, I think, because we are 45 plus strong. There is a shocking number of writers on Discord, and especially Wattpad writers. And I see that your username says Wattpad in it, so I assume that you write on Wattpad. You should join our community because we have a lot of writers there, and you know it's a great place. So
Yeah,
a lot of resources.
yeah.
Sorry guys, I'll try to come out of my cocoon for this. I'm so cold.
Are you? Do you want to get started, or do you want to just end this here?
Yeah, no.
That's it, everyone.
Okay, we got a question real fast. I'm going to answer it. It says, how do you get your focus and attention back when writing? So, like, do you mean when you kind of, like, lose your drive for it? Like, how do you just kind of hunker down and do it? Because for me, I find that the greatest thing that I started doing is sprints, because you're with other people and you kind of have, like, that expectation, you know, and it's also, it can be like a competition. You can like be like, oh, I want to write 100 words more than you know, and then you see the words. I do that in my head sometimes.
She gets that if we're like one word apart and I beat her by one word, she gets really upset.
Hey, listen. But yeah, I mean, that's what I do. And then, you know, setting deadlines can really help too. Elle and I did a thing for NaNoWriMo. We actually did it for the month of October to prepare for NaNoWriMo.
Woo!
Yeah. But we set like daily word count goals in order to hit 50,000 by the end of the month. And that was really great because it was like, okay, I only have to write 3,000 words today. Okay, I only have to write 1,700 words today. Okay, I only have to do this. And so, like, every time you pass that, it just kind of gave you a little bit more of that, like, hey, look, I'm actually hitting these goals. So if you set, like, little tiers for yourself and then you hit that, I think that kind of, like, helps do it. And it's really just kind of like a talent or a skill or anything, a hobby that you're doing, you have to practice. And that will, you know, help.
I will say sprinting as well. Like, I know a lot of people wait for someone else to join them in sprints. I also find sprinting by myself works as well because it's like my word count is sitting there. So whenever someone else goes in, they can go and see how many words I wrote. And I just find that helps. And again, it's just that mentality that someone's looking and seeing how productive I'm actually being. And it just, I don't know, it helps me anyway.
Yeah, two things. I see that Little Dreamers already told you where to find it, but the link for the Discord is in my bio on Instagram. So Instagram.com/Megan Alexandria. For anyone who is watching this on YouTube, you can click that little link tree, or I think it's just called meganalexandria.card now. You can click that, and then the link for the Discord is on there.
Mine as well, just let you know if you're on my page too.
Yeah, or Elle Meredith writes. And so sprinting, for anyone, we use a robot. It's kind of like those, I'm gonna age myself here, but those AOL instant messenger bots where you can like talk to them. It's like an AI or whatever. So it's called Sprinto, and it's a Discord bot, and when you, like, there are commands that you can hit, so you can actually sprint with yourself. You don't have to have somebody else there, just like Elle was saying, and yeah, I mean, it's very helpful. It's, for me, I find it more helpful to have it on Discord than I do, like, setting a timer on my phone, because I get super distracted, you know, so.
Yeah.
I think so how do you sit down and focus when your focus isn't there? I mean, it's really just kind of discipline, and holding yourself accountable, just like for anything else. You can't think of, if you're serious about becoming a writer or an author, you can't think of writing as something that you're just doing. It has to be something that you're working towards. So, you know, just like how all of us get up and we go to school, or we get up and we go to work every day, is, you know, you're working towards something else. So that's, I don't know. That's the answer I'm giving now. I have to use my mug backwards because I want you guys to see it.
Dude. I was gonna I was also gonna say, as well, sometimes if your focus isn't there, something to think about is are all your needs met? Like, are you hungry? Are you thirsty?
Yeah.
Do you have something else going on that maybe is preventing you from being able to sit down and focus right that second? And there's nothing wrong with like taking a breather from writing too. Like if
Right.
you're really there and you can't get any more words out. Like this morning I was writing and I'm really not feeling that great today. It's not self-inflicted pain. Anyway, I did what I could, and then whenever it was
Thankfully.
really, if it was really, when it was really just getting to be too much, I stood up and I was like, okay, that's it for me for now, and I'll go back at it later a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do talk about that in our other shows, writer's block is like a big thing. That is real. So, just make sure that you, like she said, you're meeting your needs. But there's nothing wrong with taking a step away or break from your work. And actually, sometimes when you do that, you come back stronger, because when you're reading something over and over and over and over and over again, it kind of like dulls your senses to it. And so like if you take a break and you come back, you might pick up things that, oh, hey, there's a big plot hole here that I didn't notice because my brain is filling in the gaps.
Or like sometimes I like go for like, I don't know, like I'll just go do something else and all of a sudden it'll hit me. Like that thing that I'm trying to write but I can't get out, it just all of a sudden it's like boom, it's there.
And if you watch our show, you'll know that Elle and I do that a lot. And so we actually send each other like text messages that say like, you don't have to listen to this, but this is my hands-free notes. I just figured out how to fix chapter 14,
Or even if I'm like in the grocery store or something, I'll like write to Meg, like I'll text her while I'm grocery shopping, like note to self, do this and do that, or like, whatever. And then it's like,
and I'm garbage. I ask Elle to transcribe things for me all the time. I'm like, hey, can you write this down for me?
Remember that last Sunday, Craig had me transcribe about 6 million messages all day.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, last week I actually went on a little mini vacation to the city of Memphis, which is where the Miranda Rights trilogy is set. It's my favorite city. But the point is, it's several hours away from where I actually, reside. And so I wasn't able to listen to voice messages when I was out in the middle of nowhere. So Elle transcribed.
I transcribed everyone's voice.
Hundreds of messages for me.
All day. And it's like multiple people, okay? Like it's not
just get yourself a bestie that does that for you.
It was a lot of people. Okay.
Oh my God, Elle, I am using this. We could have just used this.
Okay, but that's not what Canadian. Okay, you know what? I really want to go downstairs and get my Reese package because that's not what Canadian Reese said.
It's right here.
I just want to leave and go get it. I'm like, it's not right. It's like that's not what Canadian Reese looks like.
So smart.
Okay, she says that hers was. I'm telling you, it's Reese. It's Reese here. There's a reason that I don't say Reese's.
Because you're wrong.
No, I'm not American.
You know what? Let's get to the show. I'm sorry, guys. This has become a podcast about nothing. Okay.
It's going to be a podcast about Reese.
Yeah. This is not a paid advertisement. All right, guys. Mechanics of writing a screenplay. Okay, so just like writing a novel, it all starts with your first draft. And that means that you need to actually write. I know. But just like writing a novel, it takes patience, practice, and a little technical know-how. So yes, it is daunting to think about writing a full-length feature film, play, or even a short film. But if you break it down, that kind of helps, put it into some methodical steps that will make it a much more manageable task. So one of our viewers in the chat here said that, it's not so much procrastination as it is perfectionism. So like perfecting things, I just want to say real fast, since we're kind of talking about sitting down and write, that's your editing. So just as I would tell Elle, just puke it out now and deal with it later, So yeah, you just kind of have to like just kind of get it out and then edit it later. So that's really how you start a screenplay, is you have to start with the first draft. So here are some steps that might help you think about it and making it more manageable. So step one, of course, write your log line. A log line is something that encompasses the plot's major dramatic question, which is, what is my story about? And you want to answer these questions to help create it. So how does your protagonist get involved in the story? What conflict arises to challenge your main character and move the story forward? And what is the world of your story? What makes the story different, interesting, or suspenseful? So in 50 words or less, combine the above information into a single sentence. Try not to use your character's name. Say what they are instead. A poor student, a frazzled banker, a wrong Canadian. I'm just kidding. But don't give any spoilers. So a great example comes from, say, Silence of the Lambs. In order to catch a killer who skins his victims, a young FBI agent must develop a relationship with a serial killer who may be even more dangerous. So yeah, and then step two would be to create the outline. And so just like a novel, you need to kind of plot out what's going to happen. And you basically want to write down the main events of your script in order. And there are two ways you can do this. One, you can traditionally do it over 1 or 2 pages. Or two, if you have space and index cards and you want to make a Charlie Day conspiracy board, I'm kidding. I've actually done this technique, is you can post them on the wall in like a blocking, screen blocking method, and that would make it easier for you to view and manipulate your timeline as needed. I do want to say that the difference between these two steps is really how your brain works. So if you are a novelist turned screenwriter, you might do better with just writing it out over a couple of pages. But if you are a filmmaker turned novelist, you might benefit from the index card idea, which, fun fact, I actually used for Birds and Bullets when I was initially writing it, before Elle taught me a much easier way to outline my new stories. So yeah. Anyway, each event is going to be its own sentence. So example, you're going to have Johnny gets shot in the leg. And then the next line is Jamie puts pressure on the wound, and so forth. So keep in mind that the dramatic question you started with is what will shape your plot line. And it's also known as the through line. I can't talk today, guys. Make sure that the basics, you learn the basic structure as screenplays. So most take place over 3 acts, with an inciting incident leading to a conflict or struggle and ending with some kind of resolution or change. Step 3 is write your screenplay. So some tips are show, don't tell, write in the present tense, adhere to proper formatting, and try not to do too much editing. That doesn't mean that you can't do some things as you go along, but do your best to get your ideas out and then go back and do the big edit. And then naturally the next step is formatting your screenplay. Luckily, this is 2021, so the internet has everything, and there are templates out there that you can find online. There's also plenty of screenwriting software out there that will basically just walk you through it. Industry standard is 12-point Courier font with 1-inch right margin, 1.5-inch left margin, and 1-inch margins at the top and bottom. And then finally, the best part is edit your script. Just like a novel, editing is such an important step in the writing process. Author and screenwriter Neil Gaiman described writing as an explosion. When you get to the end of it, you get to walk around it and look at the shrapnel damage that you did. And you look at the damage and you see who died and who lived, and you go from there. So the goal of editing is always clarify. When you get to the stage, you need to return to your writing as someone who has never read it before. Does this make sense? Are all the questions answered? And are there any plot holes that need fixing? So kind of what I said a few minutes ago is, you know, take a break and then come back with fresh eyes. And yeah, one method of editing is to identify the problem areas that you'd like to improve, then mark all those areas with a color highlighter, set a goal for yourself, and get the entire script back to colorless. So screenwriting is a huge genre that even has its own language, slug line, action line, parenthetical. You have to think about the camera angles and where you might want voiceovers, and there's so much to consider when you are doing a script. With research, practice, and patience, you will be able to master the skill. One more thing I want to add, though, is as the architect behind these stories, screenwriting is a little different than novel writing, which is what we primarily talk about. But when you are writing, especially with your characters or whatever, you should have just remember to have a little bit of leeway there for kind of like that extra layer that comes in later with your cast, because depending on if you're the director and who's acting in it, and your costume designer and everything, screenwriting is just a part of filmmaking and or a theatrical production, and everything that comes together really can change the story, the way an actor delivers a line, or the if they improv dialogue or whatever. So just remember that when you are writing the story, that there is a little bit more of a flexibility to it than you would find in, say, writing your own novel. Woo! Sorry.
Hey, you got through it all without coughing. That's pretty good. There was a comment that was said, so like, I'm really bad for editing as I go. It's a habit that I haven't broken yet. I just want to say it's totally fine if you're editing as you go.
I do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally normal, I think, as you go along, to realize as you write something else that, back in chapter 3, you should have added something so that it makes sense in chapter 10, and it's totally normal. But even after you're done, you still want to do a big edit, of like reading it through and coming at it with, like she said, like with fresh eyes. Because whenever you're editing as you go, you're still very much like tunnel visioned and in your own mindset. And the whole idea of doing a big edit is, of course, to read it as a reader, not as yourself.
I know that I've said this before, but I actually come from a film background. So like this is where I started, was with this kind of writing. One of the things that I do now with my novels, that I actually learned from screenwriting, is if you print out physically what you're working with and you do your edit that way. So once you're done with it, and like I just said, I edit as I go. But if you print it out and you look at it and you're not looking at the screen, you're looking at it in a different platform, in a different like physical manifestation of it or whatever, you're going to catch different things. But especially reading it out loud, like you would if you were an actor or director, you're gonna see where the dialogue kind of lags or it doesn't work or whatever. So, that's how I edit. I edit as I go because I'm crazy, and then I edit again, and then I print it out, and I go and I read it out loud, and I look through it. So,
yeah,
there's nothing. Is the point. Oh.
Same as writing a play.
Yes, but it's so. Yes, so the formatting, yeah, but like there's different like your film is gonna be different than it would be for theater, so you're gonna have like commands like stage left and stage right, as opposed to vantage point, whatever.
Yeah, like camera.
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to talk about including people of color in screenwriting. I just want to preface this by saying, you guys, if you do write a screenplay and you pitch it to, say, somewhere like Netflix or Amazon or wherever, obviously final say is not going to be you. But it's always important to, whenever you're writing, to always be thinking of this, whether you're writing a novel or you're writing a screenplay or whatever you're writing, you should always have this in your mind. You know, like Meg and I, whenever we started this, we wanted to make sure our platform was inclusive of everybody, and reminding people that you, as a writer of any kind, you have a voice and you have an audience, and you need to use that to your advantage to help correct issues in society today that continue to plague all minorities. And so we are going to keep doing that in screenwriting today. So, so the unfortunate truth, of course, is that racism in screenwriting is still a very common thing. In Hollywood, yes, the industry is definitely taking strides to fix this problem, but it doesn't erase things like how late it's happened. It doesn't change the fact that it's still happening. And you know, and while I want to give the industry, you know, credit where credit is due, voices of color and diversity in screenwriting and filmmaking are, you know, they're starting to be heard, but they're still not heard